Hi, I'm Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in a game called, I'll call it Knarr. It's Knarr. I played it on Board Game Arena. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. It's one of these games where I showed up with someone on my Board Game Arena game night, and we played around, and someone else joined us, and we learned the game in about 5 minutes just by reading the rules on Board Game Arena, and then we're able to teach someone else who joined us and played along, and we had a lot of fun with it. I really enjoyed it. So Knarr looks like this. I printed out some of my screenshots from the game. It's a game with this really beautiful art where you control a Viking ship and some Vikings. You're gaining Viking cards over the course of the game. You have them in your hand and you play them into a tableau in front of you. And what I thought was really great about this game, my favorite mechanism, is that it uses engine building in two specific ways, kind of a third way too, but two specific ways that I really appreciated. So one of the ways is on your turn, you can, if you want, play one of your Viking cards into your tableau. When you play that card, it joins a stack of cards matching that card's color. So for example, if I play this yellow card, it would create a new stack of yellow cards. If I played this red card, it would join this stack of existing red cards that I already have. And then, once it's on that stack, you gain the benefits at the top of the card. And all cards in that stack. So if I play this red card, I would gain the benefit at the top of the red card. It's a little cut off here, as well as the benefit on this red card. This feels really good in the game. You're engine building, you're focusing on specific colors so you can gain a bunch of benefits all at once. That's great. However, at the same time, there's another type of engine building that can happen because some of the resources you're gathering, the purpose of those resources is to gain and activate ships, or not ships, locations that you have traveled to, these adventures that you've had that you've added to your ship's history. So one of the other things you can do on your turn, instead of playing a character, is that you can spend characters that you have and spend generic Viking tokens. It's nice to do that so you don't have to spend your cards. But you can spend these cards you have for the benefit at the bottom of the card, representing this resource that they are using to go on an adventure. Because these are these location cards up here. The location cards each have a cost in the upper left. This one has 2 blue. So it wants 2 blue icons on various Viking cards that I need to spend, or spend, again, the generic Vikings, to go on this little adventure and gain that location card. I add that to the top of my mat here. And then on my turn, whenever I want, I can spend bracelets. I can spend bracelets to kind of remember this adventure that we went on. I think that's what it thematically represents, that we're remembering this adventure and gaining resources from those different places that we've been. Maybe it even represents like tapping into the resources made by those locations. You can see these 3 little lines here. They correspond to the 3 little lines at the bottom of each location. Some of them only have a couple resources that you gain. This one has a resource on every line of there. And so the number of lines that you activate depends on the number of crystals or bracelets that you're spending here. So this is the second form of engine building in the game. So you're either playing characters to activate a bunch of abilities in that character's color. You also gain a character card to your hand when you do that. Or you are accumulating locations and activating them with your bracelets to gain a bunch of resources that way. But to do that, you often have to sacrifice the cards down here. In fact, I even ran into a moment in the game where I was like, I didn't understand this because I was playing the digital version, but I figured, I'll just focus on gaining a bunch of characters, playing a bunch of characters. I won't focus on these locations. However, at one point in the game, the deck ran out. And when the deck runs out, the game looks at the player with the most characters in their tableau, and it pulls characters from that tableau. You get to choose them, but it pulls characters from your tableau to repopulate the deck. So it's the game's way of saying, hey, you can't just focus on only characters. You need to balance a little bit of when you accumulate characters, when you're using the characters, when you play characters, versus when you start to give up some of those characters to go on adventures to new locations. That balance in the game is really nice, and I like that both contribute to engine building and a sense of progression in the game. The third way that I kind of alluded to is in reference to this, I think it's called reputation, a reputation track that gives you income at the beginning of your turn if you reach certain levels. That feels good too, a third source of engine building and progression. But the main two are these locations and the character cards themselves. Really neat game, really great sense of progression. I highly recommend checking it out on Board Game Arena. And it's a game that I enjoyed so much that I will probably end up buying it for the actual tabletop as well. That is Knarr. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you play the game, if you have a favorite mechanism in the game, or if you can think of other games. There are many other games like this that have multiple forms of engine building, and you often have to sacrifice one of them to play into the other form of engine building. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks.